Hello and welcome to Pest Perspectives episode 45. Pest Perspectives, if you're new, is a podcast that's aimed to educate and entertain people within the pest management industry. You can earn CPD points with both associations for this, also with the British Pest Register as well, and basis prompts some of the older episodes as well. But this week I have actually got Mark Wenman, Technical Manager at the National Pest Technicians Association. How are you doing?
Awesome. Good to see you, Shaun, and a great introduction. Thank you. It's very posh. I didn't know that was my role.
I thought that's what you were.
I'm joking. NPTA is always easy to sound, isn't it?
It is. And if you do, please subscribe, like the show, and say hello. It helps the algorithm. Subscribe, all that business, especially on Apple Podcast. And I know I've got about 8 or 9 reviews, Spotify people. Just press that button and I could have at least 60 to 70 reviews.
Nice.
Just saying, I know you're watching.
Nice. If I could get my iPhone to work properly, I'd give you a review, but that's beyond me.
That's fair.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's good. It's been a lot, as all my guests say, it's been a long time in the making because I book people like 2 to 3 months in advance. I do.
I did remember. It was in my diary and we chatted. Yeah. We always chat, don't we? So I wouldn't forget.
We definitely do. I'm already booked up till mid-February.
Fantastic.
That's no surprise to you, though, I'd imagine.
No, you're very good at planning, I must admit. Yeah. And you're a very busy guy. So
you've got to plan ahead. You have.
Agreed.
So you've been in the industry over 30 years, is that correct?
It is. My gosh, it's coming up to 32. I still remember the day I joined, that fantastic day with National Britannia. So yeah, great.
I would like to talk about that. What was that like? Because I wanted to compare it, because I noticed it. I didn't realise till I looked on LinkedIn. I want to compare it to how we're doing the NPTA 525. It's similar kind of way you got into the business. I'm not saying it's anything like it. I'm just saying it's a trainee scheme.
It's spot on, absolutely spot on. I mean, I do remember the first day when, I suppose the history is that I'm an engineer. I did my degree in engineering.
Okay.
It didn't really appeal to me. I love engineering, but actually doing that job, it wasn't really for me. But then I saw the opportunity with National Britannia on their management trainee scheme, and it had health and safety as one of the kind of movements within the scheme. You move between different departments. My final year dissertation was health and safety. I always joke before it became popular. So this was kind of in the early 90s when it was like, oh, health and safety, we need to look at that. So I did it, didn't really tickle me. But then when I saw pest control, oh my gosh, it was amazing. I was in London. I could go anywhere literally by going, pest control, can I come in? It's like, yeah, come in, no problems at all. And I love the challenge. And I love helping people. That's kind of really kind of when people realized how we'd helped, we'd solve their problems, a look on their face and their fangs. It just kind of made me, and I thought, I'm living the dream here. So, yeah, I worked in the office in Caerphilly, which is kind of now the Ecolab office, for a bit. And I remember the famous words of I think it was the chairman or one of the people there. They go, "Look, Mark, you got 2 choices." They go, "You're not really an office person. Either you go back to London in the pest control department, or we're going to sack you and let you go." I was like, okay, I'll go back to London. I won't stay in an office. That's when I realized I'm kind of a person that needs to be out, doing things. And
was it more because you were more talkative or talking all the time, or was it like they could tell you weren't ready for that environment, or it's not for you?
Believe it or not, I was actually, can you believe this? And I'm telling the truth, a little bit shy then.
Was you?
So, yes. So I think it was because my personality is doing engineering. It's kind of solving a problem, and being in the office wasn't really as such. I did like it. Caerphilly is an awesome place, but I moved back. And you're right, National Britannia, to kind of answer your question, mate. National Britannia had that ethos of bringing people in with kind of the right personality, the right kind of skill set to be then polished and grown. And I would have been 22, so under 25. And it was the same route, mentored, moved through, given training, given opportunities. So absolutely 525. There was probably more, and some people that are kind of in the industry went through the same path, and it does show that 30 years later, there's still people here that are doing things and have moved through the industry. So fantastic scheme.
So the scheme sounds like, obviously it worked for them, and you're still in the industry, and many people are. It's so it was, but it was very good training then. Was that, what was it called then? The training, it's RSPH level. Was it like diploma or something? Was it called?
It was a diploma part 1 and diploma part 2, and it was still as tough. And I think, gosh, you're digging in my memories now, that the kind of diploma part 2 was similar, and people can say, well, similar to the level 3 now. But it was definitely very much. I didn't do my part 1 for maybe, 6 months. I'm trying to remember. It was so long ago, but there was a lot of practical on-the-job training, mentoring in sort of South London, but in Central London. So real kind of mentoring for doing that. So it was a little bit different rules back then, but great, really hands-on. And some of the stuff I've just never forgotten, the kind of cockroaches raining down from the ceiling, SPI, literally everywhere, moths, there's clouds of them. So good training,
I could do going to a site like that with Jenny from America's listening, and she always goes on about, you've never experienced it until they're raining down on you. She's done plenty of cockroach jobs. I couldn't believe I'd never done one until recently.
Well, I think maybe the obviously the rotations of insecticides with the gels that have been developed that just came in, different standards. It has improved, but I've heard of interesting infestations of bed bugs, etc., that are probably worse than I've actually treated back in the day. So things haven't really changed a lot, but they have. But no, the trainee scheme was spot on, and you're right, it absolutely mirrors the 525 in many ways. Bringing on people that have the right skill set that can then move on and lead the industry in the future. So
that's good. Just do a couple of shout outs. Jasmine's on LinkedIn. Hello, Jasmine. Martin, hello. He's off at 5 a.m. tomorrow because of he is. And that's it for now. But thanks everyone. You've got 6 people watching now. We're quite popular tonight. I don't get this many people. You've brought the people in.
Okay, that's not bad. That's
with your diploma, was it? Was it? I know you said very hands-on. So was it just questions, or was it actually was there practical elements as part of the exams, tests? Do you mean?
Yeah, I mean the diploma part 1 was similar, I suppose you could say, to the RSPH level 2, and the diploma part 2 was very similar, I suppose, to the level 3 now, all the advanced technicians. So and also kind of, I guess, similar-ish to maybe some of it the food biologist. So it was very much not kind of tested on hands-on, but very much you need to have that knowledge. So I think levels are very similar from then to now. Not a lot of things have changed. I still, the scientific names for the insects, that's maybe the only difference. So it's always, I joke with Duncan, my colleague, that back then we had to learn the scientific names of all the insects. So I can still remember them. I can't remember many things in life, but I remember a lot of the scientific names of insects. And so does it help? I think it does sometimes, but You mean
scientific, or do you mean the Latin name? Because there were some different names. The Latin names. Is that they do that? So it's universal around the world. People understand what they are. That's why.
They are. So occasionally I've kind of used it. I mean, I guess on the bird side, when you're talking about certain species, the different types of crows around the world, the pigeon's a pigeon, but it can look a bit different. So it's useful. It is very useful.
Also makes you sound really technical when you come out.
Makes me sound like I know what I'm doing when I don't. So it's and it used to be back then. It was part of the test, as I remember, and it kind of again coming on to the food biologist. For that specifically, for store product insects it is, but it does help you differentiate. If somebody comes on the phone to me and says, "Mark, I've got a cockroach problem," as we always say, what species? So it does help because different species, different solution, different integrated pest management. So you need to know. Not just me being difficult. What is it? Simple photo.
Exactly. Also, Hugh Radford's in chat. All right.
Good to see you.
And someone called Rusty H.
Awesome.
So So when you were when you passed, and what was it like being in London, being a technician? Did you like it? As in, because you got a lot of hands-on experience. Did you do like high-end hotels and stuff like that, and shops? And what kind of experience did you get once you were a technician? Because you moved through the ranks, didn't you, within the company?
Thank you. Yeah, when I first started, I was sort of covering, I suppose, Surrey, and a bit into Sussex, and then South London. And South London had quite a diverse portfolio, and I loved that. But the South London or Southwest London went right up to the Thames, so that was kind of central London. And then I had an opportunity. Then I was a technician for a number of years. Loved that, absolutely phenomenal. Then I was a sort of biologist technical inspector. I did that for a period of time. Loved that. So again, kind of auditing some of the sites I was a technician for, which kind of like, only briefly though, obviously before another technician took over. And then I had an opportunity to kind of come into the central London. I was service manager for the City and West End, and that's kind of where it got really fruity and interesting, because obviously some of the problems, particularly with cockroaches, mice, bed bugs, were pretty interesting. So that's where I kind of got the grounding in my team. Obviously, then due to the fact of just doing good IPM, we solved a lot of the problems, and things like other techniques that have been taken off the market that we won't mention were usable then. So it was a real good grounding. But obviously, when you're in a centre of a city, you don't have so many store product insects or wildlife, of course. So there's always a trade-off about knowledge. So it's give me very good grounding.
Did you have any ones that were very unique, that you can talk about without mentioning where they were, etc.? Have you got any ones that were quite challenging?
That's a cunning question. I mean, there were restaurants in Southwest London that kind of before, I suppose, when I was a technician, so it would have been the mid-90s, before the gels really came out. They kind of they were there. I mentioned the brand, but the gel was, as opposed to being the small tubes of I think the 30 mil, aren't they? Were like 300 mil.
Oh, so wow, that's like massive.
Tube. But it was different percentages of active. So before they really came out, we were doing different treatments for German cockroaches in restaurants, and some of them were just scary, as in you're on the verge of saying, do I need to involve the EHO? Because there was foods there and they were brushing off the cockroaches before serving the food. It was like, look, I'm an ethical member of the public, professional pest controller. We need to stop this. That's it. So I did, much to the chagrin of maybe my service manager then, I did lots of extra treatments over and above what the contract was to ensure that problems were solved. And that's what it kind of, that ethos in me to basically solve a problem. It's not just, as you know, you got 8 visits per year, the 12 visits per year. I was like, right, I'm going to solve it. No matter what you're paying, I'm in there and did it. So that was really then useful. The brushing the cockroaches off the food. And the one I remember, I can't even remember what the site was. Again, it was in Southwest London, where I went in there and I've never seen so many German cockroaches. I mean, like your guest was saying, the ceiling was black and moving. And it was just, you treated it was literally, I remember kind of, the old, disposable boiler suit, stripping off afterwards to ensure I wasn't going to, and I never took anything home, not to my knowledge.
Well,
the old flea, I think, probably, but I never infested where I lived.
Good. Done well there. You did. Yeah. I've never done that yet either. I have.
Good on you. Good on you. Yeah, store product insects. I remember, some really interesting problems with Pharaoh's ants. With the old-fashioned liver bait, which was really interesting. Tower blocks.
Again, liver baits? What's liver baits?
So basically, it used to be liver mixed up with the active that you put into tubes and you positioned around before the new baiting system came out.
So they like liver then? Did it work very well?
Yeah, I mean, Pharaoh's ants are proteinous feeders, so it worked well, but it was inordinate. I remember one of the first things I did was it was like almost a wind up on my service manager. I think it was Alan Tate. He was awesome. And he was kind of teaching me, Mark, just get a lot of liver, really. Put on expenses, really. Mix it up, really. And then obviously you get the active, mix it in, really. And he's like, wind up, but it's not. And they love liver. So really, really interesting to do that. And I think now it almost gives me then that history.
Yeah.
Even though it's an interesting story to go to any trainees or anybody that's kind of advising it, then fits into a nice pattern of Actually, it's now easy to put down the bait for Pharaoh's ants, even though it's quite niche, because back then it used to be hard. But it still makes you think about how they're active and how they trail and how the insects do behave. So yeah, really interesting to have. It's great that I've got that kind of history.
It is. I love when I'm on training courses that the people teaching bring up different stories related to it. Because like Hughes just said, liver and boric acid.
It was.
Martin said he's recently used honey on Pharaohs recently.
Yes. Interesting. I do like honey. Used to be whatever you can get on expenses. Yeah. I quite like Snickers. I used to mix up. So for in central London, when we could mix up our own rodenticides, I had the Deadline liquid concentrate. Yeah. Because the mice in the central London was so bait shy, it was very hard for them to get going into a box, let alone take the poison. That I used to mix it up, and the one thing I did find was peanut butter, smooth. Nutty has too much in there. So I used to mix it up in my job on a Monday morning in my stores for my team of 17. Big rubber glove, smooth peanut butter. I mean, we're talking. It was over 5. I think no, it was more than 5. It used to come in 25 kilo drums, and I think I used to mix up 10 kilos at a time. I can't remember. It was a lot. It was kind of like almost like rubber glove going into the obviously with full PP on, mixing up with the Deadline liquid concentrate, and really effective. But obviously,
if it worked, it worked. Is that a thing is that a thing in London that they prefer that style even now? That style bait in London.
You obviously can't mix up your own.
No, I mean, you can obviously. There's gel versions, isn't there?
I think that's the old cliche, isn't it? It's thinking. I mean, when I was part of, kind of maybe moving on a bit, when I was part of Network Birds, sort of after I, sort of jumped over a bit of a period there, but maybe come back to it. But when I was part of Network, it was owned by Sorex, then became BASF, and they're great. Their great marketing campaign was "Think like a rodent, think like a cockroach." My one was "Think like a bird," which is like food. So you think like it, and then you apply the technique based on that. So it was based on mice like wetness, kind of something that's different to the food they're actually feeding on a restaurant. But actually, there was a lot of greasy blur in some of the restaurants that we were going into. So peanut butter smelt a lot, was different, but actually quite the same. There's water in there, isn't there? Because it's quite hydrated. Yeah. So we found that peanut butter worked really well. So we had enormous success clearing some really very large, interesting problems in hotels, restaurants, fast food chains.
So, no, that's good.
Really good. Great success.
So you worked for them after you worked for Ecolab then? You worked for them after Ecolab?
Yeah, sort of the National Britannia, and then I became service manager just as Terminex kind of bought the National Britannia entity. So Engineering Record and the others sold to them. It became different in Terminex, but still, very good company, at least for my team in central London. And then Ecolab then bought the entity when Terminex regressed back to the Americas. That was original Terminex. The original Terminex name. So, same company, but the original iteration. And then, worked for Ecolab. So I stayed with Ecolab for a number of years. Loved it. They're a great company. And then I moved. So I relocated and stayed with them for a while. And then saw an opportunity because I think for me, I mean, there's different reasons maybe why I left. But for me, it's kind of, you do your good stuff. And it's not my company per se. So I kind of done the best I can. And then a fresh challenge. So when the role with Network Bird, the manufacturer and supplier of bird products, came up, I was like, awesome. So I joined them and then worked with a wonderful guy called Nigel Batten, who retired, unfortunately, because he's awesome. He still visits the industry and stuff. So I worked with him and Graham Turner. So it was us three. So I worked with Graham sort of then. So it was us three, sort of a network doing bird within Sorex originally, when Sorex bought them, and then briefly for BASF. And,
so what did Network Bird do? Did they make products? Were you designing products, or was that the job? Or
so I was again sort of there, but I suppose I've always been technical. That's the thing I enjoy. And then I was sort of technical in the technical team for birds. So we manufactured all bird products, brought a few in, and then essentially fully supported. So we weren't just a manufacturer, as in here's a product, that's it. We would support persons on the job. We'd train them. We'd give them technical advice, anything they needed. If there's any issues, we go out and help them. So between myself, Nigel, and Graham, we fully supported that. So it was awesome, really, really good. And again, tick the box. And I kind of, the thing that I kind of loved as well is that almost then I could say, although I can't, so forgive me if any engineers are listening, I became an engineer then because I was working with engineering products, the things I love, metal and plastic, and talking techie stuff about different grades of stainless steel and all that sort of thing. So and going on roofs. So it was always like, can you talk, Mark? Are you on a roof? Which normally I was. So it's I can just about talk safely, of course. So I love that. I loved it, and absolutely great. Again, support people and see the satisfaction when they've installed a very large roof net or solved the problem with feral pigeons that are causing risks of health and safety to people. Given that solution that makes the end user very happy and protects them. So I love that.
It will do. Martin said you're mentioning some great names so far. You are.
Some stalwarts in the industry, including obviously Martin, who is awesome. Adrian, definitely Adrian, for sure. I used to do some training, him and myself and Adrian. Used to run a training course. So it's kind of, I think training in itself is moot, but actually training should, it's a cliche, forgive me for the term, empower people. So afterwards they go, actually, it's not that difficult. Actually, I probably could do that. Actually, it's only Mark saying this. He's no superhuman. I could go out and do that. So that's kind of what it was all about, really. And then once they get out there, they go, actually, we did that in the classroom and a little bit on the job. Am I doing it right? And then, you go out and help them and kind of get them until then they're standalone. So, some of the great and good in bird of kind of with Network originally. And so it was, Network was a brand which, was kind of, as I mentioned, sold to Sorex, that then, was bought by BASF, and then it became P&L Systems. Which kind of then became Pelsys. So kind of that transition of still the bird brand, which I kind of worked for, represented, was a technical person for that. That was kind of my job, followed it all the way through. So that's kind of took me up. That was, gosh, you kind of, when you think, did I really do it that long? I was kind of, how many years was I with National Britannia? Through to Ecolab, I think it was 12 years.
LinkedIn says it is anyway. You've put on LinkedIn 12 years.
Don't check.
Or was it Pelsys?
Pelsys, I was with 19.
No, so I was thinking of the first one.
So
did you go there after Network Bird?
So the kind of I worked for the Network brand. I wasn't there right at the beginning when it was Network on its own. I joined when Sorex owned it. So Sorex owned it, and then Sorex kind of then sold it to BASF, and BASF are awesome, still are, but they don't do bits of metal and plastic. They do chemicals. So they kept the Sorex part, the Storm and all those different actives, and sold us on to, that sounds, but P&L Systems bought us. That's the best way of putting it. So we still the Network brand, and then P&L then owned us, and then so under the Pelsys brand, and Pelsys are awesome and really kind of worked with us to develop the brand, and new products came on and supporting customers. So I loved it. It was great, and it's quite a niche, but I never lost all that knowledge. So if anybody said, Mark, I know you do bird, but you used to do pest control. So come on, of course I give you advice. And then it was kind of even, and I think that the key thing for me has always been, no matter who I'm allied with, it's always been completely objective. If I think something's great, I tell you. If something's great and it wasn't my product, I'd still, because I go, well, Mark, do you like that product? Of course I do. It's not my product, but absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Or we know that one doesn't work. On pigeons, for example, the scary, that doesn't work. You can't do that for too long without being arrested or thrown off the site. So just open and honest advice to people. That's what I've always liked doing, and getting good feedback. Not in a way well done, but just say, that worked. We kind of we did a good job. That's what you want.
That's what you want. That's the name of the job. Did you help create any products at Pelsys or not?
When we were there, probably more Graham, but Nigel and I were with him. They had the electric system. I don't think it'd be really appropriate for me to mention brands, because
no, you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah. But the electric system, that was one that I loved and then still supported. That was awesome. And a couple of products that were brought over from America when the American business was bought. So there was a couple that were kind of brought through from there. And as I was leaving, there was a really good scaring laser system combination that was coming in. So we've had various brackets, which are quite niche, you know what I mean, and other stuff. So I think it's I've always loved that. It's hard to get a new product. That's the thing. It's the old cliche of a new mousetrap.
Well, there's like a lot of traps where they've just repackaged it in a different way. Unfortunately, not a lot of it's new. It's someone's come up with a different design of box, slightly different. There's not massive innovations, is there really? Very often. It's like, tell me if I'm wrong, when they bring out new actives, I hear it's once in a lifetime. They don't come out very often. You don't come up with very often, do they? The new active is very, very far and few between. Is that right?
You're correct, Shaun. Yeah, most of them from in Europe anyway, from the 1970s and 1980s. There's a few that have come on, which actually were used in different industries. So they weren't created per se, they were brought in. Just because it's so expensive.
I hear it's millions. I do. Whether that's right or not, I don't know.
No, you're completely correct. There was one, again, I won't say what it is, but there was one product that's sort of a chemical that can very safely deter birds. But because it's a chemical, even though it's natural, it had to go through the approval process, and that would have been hundreds of thousands of pounds. So and that's not a new active as such. That's just bringing it into the UK, and nothing to do with Brexit. It's just we're a separate entity, and if somebody supports the product in the UK, it has to be then tested here. So it's quite a process, but for the right reason.
There's always reasons. Just I wish that they'd speed these reasons up a bit, because I hear it's on average of 6 to 7 years now. That's what I hear.
It is. I won't say too much because I don't know the technical detail per se, but I think before you could assume some things. So I know you could almost assume, say, salinity testing. So we had some products in network that maybe might be used in somewhere like Dubai that doesn't have much rain but has salty fog. So before we could, for example, assume the salinity testing, but now it has to be done real time, if I remember correctly. So you can't assume what happens over 5 years. You have to prove it over 5 years. So that then means 5 years, if I remember correctly. So, but again, for the right reasons, I think you need to make sure it is safe. And some of the actives that I used, not actives, a lot of the organophosphate preparations I used for insects, maybe back in the 1990s, have not been resupported. They've been taken off the market either because of lack of sales, or as we know, under Koch, they're not the safest chemicals, so they've been removed. So, but some of them were a bit,
some of the old chemicals, I hear stories and they scare me. They do. What's that one where people breathe it in and their heart stops? Really dangerous one. I don't know what it's called.
There's gases. Gases. I was going to say I was going to be but there's some gases that are really that we used to do a lot of gassing back in the day, and thankfully
it was that one where you couldn't wear a mask apparently, and if you smelled almonds, you had to do something because I can't think what it was called. There we go. There you go.
Cyanide.
That's the stories I heard with farmers and stuff using it. And,
farmers, yes, definitely.
Things like that. But did you know? I was shocked. I had someone on from America. A good. She does gophers and moles, and she doesn't use it. But she told me that locally, and I was in shock. People could buy cyanide.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, and she can still get hold of it. She said, I don't use it, I use traps only. But I was in shock. She said, there's people locally that do it. And they wonder why the birds are dropping dead. all sorts.
Yeah, there's different things you can use in America, I believe. Don't quite me, like sterilants.
Well, yeah.
Which are non-targeting to certain birds, so we never ever considered even supporting. It'd never be allowed, but never would I. I always said to anybody that approached me from America at various events, no way, not at all, can't be done.
No.
If one bird accidentally ate it, then no. But yeah, I was involved in some fumigations back in the day, mainly as the night security. So the fumigators would do it, and I would sit there and make sure nobody broke into the building, because even those warning signs and it's fully locked and everything's bolted, if somebody broke in, that would be it. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was
okay, Hugh. Fine mag on wasp nests. Wow, that really would kill them, wouldn't it?
Asian hornets.
Well,
don't.
No.
Yeah. So, but no, good times on training. It gave me a lot of solid grounding from there that I can now use, with members, etc. So yeah, I stayed with Pelsis, and it was phenomenal until March this year. And I think like the previous time with National Botanical Ecolab, I kind of reached a level where for whatever reason I felt I'd done enough, done my time, and the time with Network as Pelsis flew by. It's like, wow, 19 years. Oh my gosh, really? Am I going to get my award for 20? Don't know. So yeah, then I wasn't really looking to move, but then saw the opportunity with the NPTA. I was like, whoa, honestly, did I write that? So yeah, to then kind of take all the culmination of 30 years and then be able to use that, some of that, part of that to help members was just an absolute given. So yeah,
it's been really good so far, having you and Mark, you and Duncan join the team. It's
thank you.
It seems to be you've made a massive improvement to the association. Definitely, it's been a good improvement. Definitely.
Well, same. You and the other directors, it's just fantastic to have a team. I think for me, the cliche is whatever we do is for a member. Everything has to be member focused. Has to be nothing else. Just everything, every phone call, everything we do, every event, every bit of training, just making the members more learned, develop them, improve them, and by default the industry. We're not looking to improve the industry per se. It's all about the members. So I love it. Yeah.
Well, it definitely is. So how do you become a field biologist then?
Yes, that's the thing. I think it's a funny thing, isn't it? It's almost like this mystique of the field biologist. I think there's a certain approach that does lend itself to somebody wanting to do that. It's diligence. It's a bit of kind of the old cliched words of root cause analysis. I was speaking to a wonderful member today who's kind of going through that path of wanting to be a food biologist, and we're kind of kindly sent me a few reports and we're looking through them, and it's kind of like the root cause analysis to kind of really get into the grasp of the whats and whys, and having that breadth of knowledge for anything that could in theory infest or be present in a food site, whether it's big or small. It doesn't have to be something that's really large. The more interesting problems I had have been importers of. There was one that you were talking about really interesting problems. It was one that imported. It was a beautiful site. I think it was in Surrey. I think imported spices and herbs. It was almost like this kind of 1800s, small warehouse with like light shining on the summer's day, the beautiful smell. And millions and millions of moth. That kind of where the record goes is the kind of the beautiful scenario that kind of just breaks. But these sort of places are kind of what you kind of get to grasp to as a field biologist. So the field biologist is something that can be trained into. Can be practiced, and anybody can be one. It's just that kind of that approach, and experience does help. If you do have some sites that lend themselves to either having a problem, or potentially you could almost imagine it, where you think, hold on a minute, even though the site is sterile, actually you could have a moth under there, you could have some beetles infesting there, even though it's so clean, you could have that there. So it's almost like I was saying to the chap today that you don't have a site that's a problem, but imagine that site we're discussing, imagine that did have what would be the approach you would give, what recommendations we. I had one last week where a problem was coming from overseas. Okay. So when the bag of birdseed came in, bird food, it was almost eaten from within the bag. So clearly the problem was coming from elsewhere. So kind of, I guess, it's almost then kind of delving into the why and how does the problem get into the warehouse? Where's the infestation? The trending to find out how the levels are. That put the monitors down. So yeah, it's not a mystique as such. It's something that can be learned. So and that's why kind of with Duncan and Graham kind of then thought about having a course, because obviously Graham's very experienced in it, as to the director of the NPTA, to have this. We already had, so you want to be a field biologist, a training course to take people from a grounding up to then considering and having some skills there. But now we have the certified field biologist course, which then gives the full set of skills. So with a cheeky exam at the end.
Yeah, it does look good. It's on the cards for future, but not yet. When I think I'm ready, I'll probably go for it. The problem I have, though, I haven't got any sites that are like that audited. I'd have to probably ask another company if I can come to one of your sites. That might be the issue, because I haven't got anywhere that I could use as examples. I know you redact it all, but I haven't got no examples as such. So to say you probably have to ask a friend or somebody that's got them, or a company, if they would let you follow you around and let you do it. I'd imagine you would have to do that, would you?
You don't have to per se, but that's what we have arranged for at least one person that was on the course.
Yeah,
go around a site to then see, because I think we have insects, we have a myriad of samples of, but when you see it in the tube, you can see it with the microscope, the magnifying glass, you can get into the nitty-gritty of the differences, why one beetle is different from another, but actually then see it truly in that environment, see a confused flower beetle walking within the flower, it's like, that's what, as opposed to imagining it.
Oh, I see. But right, okay.
You can't guarantee that, though, can you?
No, you can't.
Yeah. But you can't take around live insects and deposit them in a site.
No.
So yeah, I think it's an awesome qualification that will then give somebody credence when they go into doing a field biologist audit. They will then have the knowledge, know how to do trending, have a solid ground in identification. Possibly with some Latin names as well, of course.
You've got to have Latin names. I've looked at the syllabus for it.
It's pretty long ones, but you get to grips with them, and I think there's like in any part of our industry, there's a core number of store product insects or core number of beetles that you should be familiar with within the large number that potentially come in. So that's the same with rodents, isn't it? We can't do voles or mice. So it's what we know. So I think it's been a great, and today was the first exam. So the exam is in theory 3 parts. So you have the actual identification part. So identifying the insects. Then you have some sort of case studies, i.e. the biologist reports that we look at and kind of review. And the third part is the exam, which is a very diligent and testing short answer set of questions and some long answer ones as well. The long answers are really involved about you analysing some interesting scenarios on sites and planning the trend analysis and assessing how the IPM is completed on site, integrated pest management. So it really does test the people, but in a fair way. It's not some super duper esoteric, unusual scenario that you would never see. So, and that has to be fair, doesn't it? It has to be really well to what a lot of us would see, with an average. So,
I mean, it gives obviously people that are listening to this that want to do it or look into it. They can always. The information's on the NPTA website, I believe. It's all there. It is.
I think
I think you had a full course, didn't you? Graham did. Was all the slots full for it?
It was, yeah. And
I think he was advertised because because I remember when I had him on, he like dropped the worldwide reveal on my podcast. He started promoting it, and it wasn't agreed. He was like, "There it is." Because I asked him at that time, he had six people on it already. He did.
It was, and we have another one that is fully booked, which is awesome.
It's a good thing to have that. It shows a demand, or people like the look of the course. They do.
It is. I mean, for me, I suppose, I love the industry, and I can't believe I'm so lucky to be in something I enjoy so much. It's like, every day is just fun. But for me, the engineering part has always tickled me, as I mentioned. The bird side, and the other thing I love is store product insects. Not in my breakfast, obviously, but I love the little insects. I love the food sites. I love the challenge. I still remember some of the really interesting sites I went into, and some of the like, whoa, really, you're manufacturing food, are you? We need to sort you out. So I just love it. And I suppose when you get into the food sites, there's probably going to be, by default of it having a biologist visit, it will be audited by one of the large auditing companies like the AIB.
So from what I understand, tell me if I'm wrong, with people who have food auditing sites, you can, if you are a field biologist, you can go in before they have their big audit. And it's like, because I had Debbie Wilson on, she said she does it when she goes in independently and does an audit. And it's like to help the pest control company if there's any areas have missed. It's like over-analysing, overlooking from a different set of eyes. That's what she basically said. Just so they don't get into trouble, or not that the pest control company's done anything wrong, just they may have missed it from a different angle.
You're right, Shaun. Yeah, bang on. And I used to work with Debbie. Debbie's awesome. Really good. Yeah, so good. And
she taught me for my level 2.
Awesome. You're lucky. Wow. Yeah. And you're right. The part of the being a food biologist is to go and look at, maybe you could call it infestations. The other thing is to look at the site, as you say, there's a cliche, fresh pair of eyes, completely objective. And I've done the same. People say, Mark, why have you done that? Oh yeah, I've always done that, and I never realized I was doing that. So they can actually, or I don't know, you forget to put one of the moth pots on the map, and it should have been on there. So they will then go, actually, Mark. So they're not there to penalise you. Say they're to basically.
That's what she said. She says we're there to help the companies, we're not the enemy. But I have heard of I'm not obviously saying who. I have spoke to other field biologists where they kind of seen them as the enemy. Very weird.
I mean, it's a hard job. I mean, people think that having a pest control contract for a food site is wonderful. It truly is. Gives so much satisfaction. I love doing them. But oh my gosh, it's so much pressure to get it right, and everything is analysed as soon as the order comes in. They will one of the first things they go to is a pest control folder, because that's a snapshot, a glorious snapshot of everything that's happened on that food site, that factory at that period of time. And
I'm not saying off who, but I've heard the comment of, it was obviously, didn't tell me where it was, where's the pest report?
I think that it's they are we know, and this is one of the things that I suppose, this is a bit cheesy, one of my hopes is that I think our industry is in a great place. We have some awesome people in it, wonderful people, some great new people coming through, so there's no doubt on the future of our industry. But I think for me, it's actually then communicating that awesomeness to the wider bodies, like the auditors, like maybe the HSC, maybe some of these larger organizations we don't have many touch points with, to say, wow, look at the great stuff we're doing. Let's work together on a few things, to change some stuff that maybe needs to make our lives easier. So, these auditors coming in are great, because they have a lot of respect for us in pest control.
They definitely do, because a lot of pest firms are under a lot of pressure. They've got a lot of work. The techs have got a lot of work to do in a day, and they can easily miss and forget stuff. It's not hard. You can understand it. You can.
That's the thing. Yeah, you're right. I mean, doing a short inspection of a very small site would be very quick, and you can easily see the problems. a food site of that standard that has an auditor coming in can never be rushed. So the ones I used to do is like, used to tell, my boss back then, I'll be gone, for a day, maybe 2 days, whatever it takes. But you just trust me that it needs to be done. And with time pressures, you need to give that time, don't you? Like anything, Shaun, isn't it? If you have a little problem site, you need to get to the bottom of it, whatever it takes. So, and food sites normally will work with you, which is awesome. Yeah, they will
it's in their interest. I mean, do a lot of people, I'd imagine what would be a useful tool, I don't know if it is for pest control companies that do audited sites or field biologists, because the buildings are so high, do any of them have drones where they can go up and see if there's holes in the roof or anything? Like, do any of them lose drones to see areas they can't see? Because I know with audited sites, it's like, if you write a recommendation, it's not a recommendation, it's you must do this.
Yes,
it is.
It is.
I imagine drones would be a good tool for that kind of thing.
They are. Some companies do use them, and they are awesome, and they're relatively cheap. Some people do have the training to do it, or a third party comes in, and I've used them where you go up and you can easily spot a hole, and it's great for a report. That, I suppose, back in the day, I used to have to try and describe the small hole to the left-hand side of the and then they'd go, Mark, we've done the hole. Actually, no, I didn't describe it right. You've done the wrong hole. So now a photo, and that's kind of the awesomeness of biologist reports. You take a photo, you denote it, you show where the what needs to be done, and it then gets disseminated out to whoever needs to do the work. And a drone is exactly the same. It's up there, takes a snapshot. And that can be then included. So you're right. Yeah, people do use drones. Used to get them involved for bird surveys.
Oh, but because they're so high up, they really would be the thing. They would be.
It's so expensive, and even if you could get up there on a massive Bronto hoist, 50 meters in the air, that's a couple of grand a day, and then you still can't get close because the roof is asbestos or something. So sending a drone up, having a quick look, shimming around, it's worth its money. So. Yeah,
no, definitely. I felt I'd bring that up because I thought that might be an easier way of making sure every nook and cranny on the buildings. Because I know that you have to. It's like they say recommendations for these auditing places. It means you must do this. It's down as a recommendation, but if the auditor can see you haven't done it, why haven't you done this? Yeah,
it's always a thing that when I was a technician or a biologist, I used to get, Mark, the auditor's coming in. I used to be, I'm so sorry. I know you're going to be tied up now, technical manager. In my mind, it was like, awesome. The recommendation I've made for a door closure, rapid action door, for you to tidy up the whatever storage area is now going to be done. So, you shouldn't listen to me, but okay, it's now going to be done because the auditor's there. So, businesses can have severe ramifications, fines, even potentially loss of business if something is remiss. So it's a very, very serious.
So this is one question I've never really asked anyone as such. With these auditing sites, they obviously have drains. Do they get the drains surveyed just in case there's faults in them, just in case to cover them from that angle, like the drain system, in case there's any faults that rats can come up through? Is that a thing that a lot of them recommend, like to get them surveyed?
Some do by default of the type of materials that potentially could go down the drains. Some of the bakeries I used to do had, even though they were diligent in cleaning, that kind of slightly technical terms, sludgy blur that sometimes used to go down the drains that caused filter flies, fruit flies, etc. That caused the issues. So and they were old buildings as well. Most of these were kind of buildings that were converted from something else. They had very old Victorian drainage systems. So they do. Okay. And funny enough, there's another part of our industry that is kind of more interesting is the drain surveys, the equipment, getting training on doing that. And I was speaking to somebody, a trainer in that, pest control and drain surveys, about the next thing could be having an automatic drain survey for commercial buildings that are at risk, as opposed to waiting for the rodent issue. Then root cause analysis is your drains. So that's an interesting one, that maybe preemptive drain surveys for not just the high risk sites or the prisons or something else. Used to Brixton Prison back in the day, they had drain surveys, but that's probably maybe some people trying to escape down them. I don't know, but preemptive drain surveys.
That's on my list for next year. I'm doing I'm going to do Davy Brown's course next year. Because there was a kill germ talk, and I thought it was really interesting at one of the days. So we're going to go and do it in February, the day course.
I spoke to Davey on Friday. He is just awesome, absolutely awesome. And it's one of these things that, I'm not the best on drains, but for rounded integrated pest management, our industry, you need to have a knowledge of drains. You need to have a knowledge of roofs. It's when you do bird, it's almost then a knowledge of architectural terms. You start going down that positive route, kind of siloing and getting real in-depth knowledge. And it's great for us, isn't it? Because when we talk to a customer, we have that credibility, but giving that kind of that complete solution, that's kind of the awesomeness, isn't it? So good on you.
It makes it sound, it gives you a better understanding, because although I tell people you need a drain survey, I'll tell you now, not many of them listen. They don't. You need a drain survey.
Yes.
Because it's when they keep coming back. I was like, it says, I've told you to get a drain survey. I even give out certain names that are known for it, obviously Davey.
Yep.
But a lot of them don't do it. And there was one case where they did do it, but they rang another pest controller who did the same thing I did. I said, I told you to ring a drain company. And he found one in there, a really good one locally. And then he got it fixed. It was a redundant line. He bunged it. And that was the issue. But just wish more people listen when you say you really need a drain survey.
I think that, human nature is probably from an end user, there must be a simpler solution.
Yeah.
There must be something. If I go on the internet, press a button, it will give me a magic thing that will just solve the problem. But there's not. And I think human psyche knows it, but it's almost like with the advent of the internet, people think they can, there must be an easy for £5 that will solve it. So well done for being persistent. It's
sometimes it has worked, but maybe it's my language. I've got to get better at explaining why. And this course will help me explain it. Having the greater knowledge will help when I say you need one. Hugh just put something in the chat. Rice's Language of Buildings is a good book for terminology.
Nice.
Good recommendation there. Not read it, but I might have a look at it.
Yeah, I used to have an architectural book that I still got somewhere that had all the architectural terms. Because again, it's when you're speaking on bird with an architect, you don't want to say the kind of the little tiny ledge that's kind of just a little bit down, that's just kind of there. You want to say the string course, or the kind of really posh looking statue things. You can say the portico or something like that. It's great, and you can do a little picture. So well done for getting involved in that, Shaun. It's great for giving, as I said, that integrated pest management, isn't it? And it's learning with a practical. That's what Davey and others in the industry are. It's not just sitting there reading PowerPoint going.
I think we are moving that way, though. I think the new framework, they want to have practical elements in it as well. So whenever that's available, I don't think I'm not involved. It might be a few years away. I don't know, but I know that they're big on adding practical in. They are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, the NPTA, as myself and Duncan were just saying, however we can make it practical. And I know sometimes limitations, isn't there? You're in a venue. You can't make it too practical. On bird, I used to get told off, you can't drill the wall. Can I? No, you can't drill the wall. Okay, I'll wait.
Where was that?
I'm just saying anywhere, mate. You go to a hotel and you think start,
Oh, right, yeah. Imagine doing it at Burley House. No, you cannot do that.
Yes, yeah.
It's still in Stamford, obviously.
Yeah, but the new bedbug course, we're making that kind of fully practical as much as we can. We're a bit more, a little bit more focus on heat, because that seems to be what people are more interested in. But obviously, still with the traditional management techniques.
Have you had a lot of success, a lot of uptake with them courses?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think it's bed bugs was something that used to challenge me 30, 40 years ago, and now it's the same. It's just various reasons that we discussed before we came on, isn't it? Bed bugs, German cockroaches, various ants, maybe. We still have the standard kind of plethora of rats, mice, but these ones are still causing issues. So it's but the courses they're practical, so it gives people then the skills to actually know how to treat a room. Yeah, we treat a bedroom. So
is that what you do on the course? Yeah. Do you actually do a chemical treatment?
No. So forgive me for not being clear. Obviously on the course we can't do that unless, of course, we happen to go to a room that we won't take bed bugs along. I'm joking. But
get Richard Naylor to come down. He'll bring you some.
Get him to lay in the bed.
Yeah, he's also been on the podcast before.
He's awesome, isn't he? But no, we obviously we treat like we do with the practical use of insecticides with water onto card that's there, but we do with the steam. We do with
steam.
Steam's kind of a bit of one that's. Forgive me for saying, some people think with steam it's kind of a little bit of a waft like you would do with a kettle. It's obviously it's not. So I think showing people in our industry we know, but some people are still a bit unsure how to use each of the techniques, diatomaceous surf, all these things, how it can be used as part of the. It's
good to show people, because I'll be honest, there isn't a lot of. I might be wrong. I don't think there's a lot of courses that show you what to do. It's like with your equipment, with maintenance, they don't seem to be. Killjoy used to do loads of them. But I don't see them advertised anymore. There's not a lot of courses that show you what to do, how to maintenance your equipment, etc., things like that. But so actually showing you how to do it, and then you've got practical experience of it, which is the best way. It's because when you pass your courses, you've obviously done no practical, and you really, even though you're qualified, it starts when you start doing a job. That's your real training on the job.
It does, yeah. That's what I had, and that's what the cliche the 525s have. They're being mentored both by myself or Duncan and the NPTA, but also the recipient companies they are within. So they're kind of that kind of double level that that they're already having that kind of that training within the company up to a level that they can actually do the job, because they won't have passed their RSPH level 2 or safe use of red insides yet, but they're having the kind of mentoring from Duncan and I as well. So it's a good way of doing it. It's all about practical, isn't it? We're a practical industry. Yeah,
it is. I would do the bed bug if I had enough work in it. It wouldn't be worth me doing. We don't get hardly any ever. We don't. But no, it's good. More practical courses are coming out.
Yeah, most definitely. We're always open to suggestions in the same way that. Maybe we're daft, but we're trying to go to areas where necessarily we may not have done so many courses before. So, it was a kind of commitment to some members that I'll go to the Highlands, up to Inverness.
They'll be very thankful for that, because I speak to a lot of Scottish people, and they say there's a lack of courses and training up here. So they should jump on it. There's not a lot of courses.
Yeah, Bristol, Southwest. We don't want to kind of double up on what's already been done, because for us, it's been not for profit. It's all about value for what we can give to members to help them grow. But if we know there's kind of gaps, obviously Wales, I've run courses, and we're committed to doing more. It's kind of that. So it's if members say we want a course there, we do it.
Do you get like numbers of people that would be interested first, then find out who would like to do it, or is that kind of how you work out how to do it? That's probably the case.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you. There's a density of NPTA members naturally. So like we were saying about the on the road days and what we're doing for Peterborough as an example that we chatted before we come onto air. So that's kind of a good example of that. But where members have said, like for sort of Inverness area, as opposed to them coming down to Perth or Glasgow, where I run courses. And same in Wales and same in Bristol. Yeah, it could be anywhere, but what the members ask for, and we know there's a density there already. And then Maxine and Donna and us, are very good at then saying to members, you asked.
You asked. It's available now.
Yes, What do you want? That's the key thing, isn't it? Only give them what members want. It's pointless putting out a course if it's not practical and applicable.
I suppose sometimes courses get made and then there's no uptake. Has that happened before, where there's not a lot of interest sometimes?
It can happen.
It's the way it is. You try something new. It won't always work. Sometimes, a lot of times it does, but you've got to try it, haven't you?
You're right. And I think we're open and honest with, for example, the new, even more practical bed bug where we're doing a bit more heat, maybe that might not be what members want. So we try it once, and if it needs to be slightly adapted, then we can do that. But we want to do it in a venue like our office, or somewhere out like one of the supplier offices where they have a bed which we can use, that we know there's little risk. There's nothing worse than paying for a very expensive venue, and we don't want to lose anyone in a course at all. So
it's nice the NPTA office is getting used now for training.
I love it. It's great. I did a bird course there, didn't I? Just before the board meetings, I had to shuffle everything out in an hour. We get everything out. So it's a great office. It has a great upstairs area that's used for meetings, and it's kind of it's a good location. It's quite easy to get to within reason of where it's in the UK. So I do like it.
I've been there once when I first became a board member. I've been doing it remote since though, but that's my city. That's my city driving for me. I'm not very. I got on the way home. I took a few wrong turns in Nottingham. No bad areas, but just I think I'll come in. I'll probably when it's light. I'm terrible, but I will try and come down to the office more. But
I like traveling early hours. I think that's why I like traveling when there's very little traffic. So anybody wants me to go somewhere, I drive anywhere. Just leave at 2-3 in the morning and get there early, and then no traffic.
I always remember when we went Devon on holiday, because of where far we lived away. I think it was something like 6 or 7 hour drive. Well, we dropped the keys off, and it was on the hill. The security office was, and I put the keys through the door. Security, I said, "You were asleep, weren't you?" I wasn't trying to break in. I'm putting my keys through the door. I said, no, I wasn't. You could see I woke him up, scared the life out of him. And we left in the early hours to get home. We did. But no.
Our industry is 24 hours almost, isn't it? With coverage, and that's maybe the time when we need to do treatments. If we need to do something out of hours, then that's what we do, isn't it? So it's a good thing. I think our members are awesome. They work so hard. Oh my gosh, I knew it, but seeing it more, and I think the kind of when you're in a big organization, you always have somebody that you can go to for technical support. The technical manager might be a biologist. It's kind of easy for the large companies, but a lot of members may be themselves or a partnership or a small number of technicians. So they don't have somebody. So I think that's what I love. A lot of conversations today of just I might not have the right answer, but it's almost like that sounding board, isn't it? I've got that problem. What do you reckon? You're bang on the right steps I thought I was. So that's nice to be able to kind of do that. So it's kind of what I'm doing every day as well, apart from training and other things. So it's really good.
No, that's good to hear. That is, but thanks for coming on, Mark. I think we've covered pretty much all of it. We have.
Awesome.
Unless there's anything else you wanted to mention.
No, just I love doing what I'm doing. I think that's the beginning and end. It's just fantastic to be able to do this, and I think the NPTA is kind of it's a clean slate. There's nothing that's we couldn't consider offering to members as a benefit or as an extra thing that would help them. It's just obviously as long as it gives value.
Exactly.
That's the main thing, isn't it? So I think it's a very positive for next year. Really looking forward to it.
And if there's any members listening, you can contact myself, the NPTA Mark, Q. If you got any ideas or anything, we can always put it through and see what happens. We can. We're always open to new ideas. We are.
There were some good ideas for Pest Tech, wasn't there, about the escape room, about the mindfulness with mental health, with giving everybody a free coffee to get them chatting.
That went down really well.
It's just wonderful small ideas that are like massive and really been taken out. So it's people give us ideas, we look at it and try and do it. So awesome. More the better, mate.
So who else would you like to see on this podcast in the future?
Well, you should have prepped me up that question, because now it's going to be difficult.
What was that, Duncan? You just said? Did you just say Duncan?
I think Duncan. I mean, there's a few of the kind of the guys that I mentioned that I think
we'll look their names up.
Awesome. I mean, Nigel Batten's kind of left the industry, but he might be willing to come on. He's Mr. Bird. Yeah, he is awesome. And I think Robin Paradise, he was kind of my service manager, kind of my mentor at the beginning. I think I'm not sure if he's been on here.
He's not. He's been on the Beauties and Beasties podcast.
Okay, yeah, Rob's awesome. So there's people that have kind of been around that kind of have helped. So yeah, you caught me off guard there. So I think of a few more names, but there's so many. That's my thing.
You always message me. No worries.
Yeah, so many good people that have got interesting stories, that kind of doing stuff. I mean, Davey, yeah, sort of.
I have asked what Davey Brown. I have asked him, but he's such a busy man. He says, looking at probably about August, September, he said, I might be able to come on. I'm that busy. He says, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I'm busy at the minute.
Yeah.
But I asked him a while ago. He said, probably August, September next year. He said, because he's that busy. That's what he said. He did.
That's good though, isn't it? It does show, and that's the same conversation with him on Friday. So I think it's where our industry is.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Everyone, remember to log your CPD with your association or British Pest Register. Basis prompt you won't be able to get for this because I was only given X amount of codes, and it ain't for any of the new ones recently. And please review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Please comment if you watch Spotify. Just drop a comment in to say you like the show. It all helps. It does. Just trying to get a bit more comments and engagement because a lot of people watch, but they don't say anything. Just it's hello. Or, I enjoyed the show. Things like that. It would help. It would. So thanks for everyone that's been watching today. There's been quite a few.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll put a comment on that. Can I review? Used to be, can I get CPD points for my own courses? And I was told I could. So I'll review.
But cheers. But yeah, if you stay on for a minute after. But yeah, thanks everyone. And next week will be the last one of the year. And we have Andrew McDonald from UK Petanks next week. That'll be the last one of the year. He sells mole traps, basically.
Yep.
He's been on before in a pest control form with his company. And now he's coming on from a completely just mole control standpoint.
So hopefully you're going to have your Christmas outfit on, Shaun. I was going to wear my Christmas T-shirt, but I thought, nice. No. Oh, yes. Gosh. Wow. That's awesome. Blimey.
Deadlifting one. Yeah.
I know you're doing well at the gym, mate. You're looking good on there.
Oh, try. Cheers for that. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
I'll see you all next week. And I'll speak to you in a minute, Mark, but I'll see you tomorrow as well.
See you tomorrow, definitely.
Look forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Thanks all. Bye-bye.